Welcome to the podcast. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Yeah. I'm not here to entertain your trauma or decorate pain with punchlines. I'm here to tell it the way it happened before time. Smooth out the hard lines. This podcast ain't about perfection, it's about perspective, about saying the parts out loud. Most people leave out for protection. I talk family loss, growth, accountability, the quiet moments nobody claps for. The decisions that change you long before anybody
Welcome to
asks
Say
more.
It Anyway. We keep it real, unfiltered to say what most people are afraid to admit. I'm your host, Boogs, here with my co-host, Jazz.
Lady Jazz.
All right. And before we even get anything started today, I want to take a moment to say rest in peace to 15-year-old Jaden Pierre. That's not just a headline, that's a life, a family, a future that was cut short behind pressure, pain, environment, emotions, and all collided at once. So today, we're not just reacting, we're breaking it down. What's really going on underneath, why situations escalate the way they do, and how single moments can change everything. This is Say It Anyway, and let's get to it. What's going on, Jazz?
Hey. Well, first and foremost,
Um,
absolutely rest in peace to him. As a parent, as a community activist, as a youth advisor, my heart goes out to that family of both
Same
young men
here.
because decisions we make and everything has a reaction, right? So in consequence, so definitely my heart goes out to everyone involved.
Yes. Rest in peace to Jay.
But
But
I'm doing all right. It's the weather up here is a little wonky in New York, but we making it do what it do. So I'm all right.
you
How have you
know,
been?
I'm all right. Taking it day by day. You know,
Mhm.
this situation that happened is kind of kept me in a little bad mood for the past few days because as a father, I can kind of relate to what's going on out there, and I get kind of nervous because my kids still reside out there.
Yeah.
It
And
kind of made me.
that was just one incident. New York has been on fire these
Yes,
last
yes.
couple weeks with these teen unalivings. And I just had a long talk with my daughter last night. She's 18, but she's popular and she's always out and about. And I had to talk to her like, you ain't got to go everywhere. And, it's okay to stay home sometimes. I need your head on a swivel. And
Right.
I told her, I said, we're going back to what we have overcome.
Exactly. Like, why are we going backwards? That
I,
I mean, it
I'm
makes
trying to
no.
figure it out.
Yeah, and it's like when you first heard about this, like, what was your reaction to it? I mean, you being a mother, you got an 18-year-old.
So,
Gabby.
I grew up in that neighborhood, right? So Roy Wilkins is familiar territory. And
Right.
I didn't see the video when it first happened, but I did hear about a lot of people talking about it. I was traveling with my teen group. We went to Baltimore for their leadership conference. So when I did finally see the footage, I was appalled.
Right.
Um, First of all, before we even got to the point where a weapon was drawn, nobody stepped in.
Nobody. Yes,
Everyone
I've
just
seen the
stood
video.
around and watched. And he had already beaten that boy up.
He didn't
The-
even fight back. He didn't
right.
fight back.
At all.
That was a sign of he doesn't want no problems. I'm pretty sure he would have learned his lesson from there, but
Right.
I'm glad you didn't see.
And my whole thing was how do we get to the extreme as far as to pull out a weapon after you had already won the fight?
Peer pressure, or maybe it's because of the cameras is out. Everybody's watching. You can't look
Well,
weak.
as a licensed uh person who can carry a firearm, you ain't bringing a weapon or you shouldn't bring a weapon unless you are intending to use it, especially putting your finger on the trigger.
True, bro. Like,
Mm. That
where's it?
part.
Like, who's supplying these people? Somebody needs to talk to their OGs, these YNs, or whoever's in charge, or whoever they're following or trying to mimic, because those who have lived that life, such as myself, right? I you grow when you humble, and to be where we at now in age is, you can see how dumb and idiotic just the movements and the activities that we were doing, and to make it now, and it's kind of sad to say, but some of the things, most of us, that it's out there. And I know for a fact I wasn't in the household trying to teach my kids this behavior. I did everything in my power to go against that, to show them opposite. But some of these kids are their friends, and it's hard to get them to like this detach from that loyalty that they feel they have from not knowing. Probably within 5 years, you won't even be talking to them. You know what I'm saying? But they're young. You know what I'm saying? So I try to put myself in that situation of them being a teenager again, and
Uh-huh.
the peer pressure and the just just want to be accepted. I mean, it's a lot to worry about and to feel, and also
So
depending on how the house is. Yeah, but
right. So I think that's the other part of it, right? That
mhm.
our kids take things to the extreme because of social media, because of what is being
Yeah,
put in front of them, right? To where
totally.
everything has to be overly done and recorded. And then you got to do it for, as they used to say, you got to do it for the gram. So now here it is. For whatever the reason, these two gentlemen, I can't even say this was a real fight because it wasn't, right? So
Oh,
what happened. And then you said something interesting. There are no more street codes. There are no more mores. I remember back in the day, women and children were off limits. If
yes,
you had beef with somebody, you handled that beef with them. It was
strictly.
not you weren't outside just wilding. And if you picked up a weapon, you better had known how to use it. Right. And if you didn't, somebody was gonna check you. And that's the other thing. The line of respect is no longer there in our communities to where I remember OGs rolling up having conversations. Let you be a young boy walking down the street with your little sister and you ain't holding her hand. A OG was gonna check you. You hold her hand. That's your little sister. You cross her across the street.
Right.
Let an old lady be walking with some groceries and you could have been the most thuggish boy on the block. Let you not offer
That's a
to
fact.
help Miss Jenkins with her packages.
That's a
A
fact.
OG was going to check you.
There was nothing wrong with being a gangster and a gentleman. What about
Absolutely.
the code of letting your woman walk on the inside when you
That's
by the road?
right.
The
That's
man walk
right.
on the outside. You know what I'm saying? But I actually had to talk to a girl that I met out here, and we were walking in the road one day, and she was on the outside, and I pulled her on the inside of me. And she was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "A man's supposed to walk on the outside, like more of a protection thing,
Mm-hmm.
and like a status of like I guess it's yours." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And she didn't understand that. And yeah, so it was kind of
Well,
new to her.
take her to Atlantic City. She gonna learn real quick
You know
about
what, yo?
walking on the
She's from
outside.
Jersey. You know what? Yeah, Jazz. She's from Jersey. That's the crazy part.
Okay,
She's
because
a Jersey girl.
walking on the outside of Atlantic City mean you free range.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
Okay,
You'll
you
learn real
selling
quick.
something, and it ain't
Right, right.
cookies.
But
Um,
um, but yeah, back to this mental health underneath these children, because I know that they fighting these demons. I'm
yeah.
trying to get to the bottom of this. Like, where's the anger coming from? Not. I mean, the
So
fact that they getting their hands on guns, but it's like, what do you think these people are carrying on their shoulders right now that they're not talking about? Like,
so it's it's
misplaced anger.
interesting. So
Mhm.
two things. So when you just said YNs, right? And I'm trying to figure out as a culture and a community, why have we coined that phrase? Like, what about YN is endearing? What about being called the YN makes any kind of sense, right? And if we know anything about mental, the more you say something about yourself, the more you believe it about yourself.
Right.
So you keep calling yourself a YN or the community keeps calling you that. Why wouldn't we expect you to now act like a young nigga? Like, that is just the reality. And then when I watched the video, I don't know, and maybe it's just my mind. I'm back in school. I just took two classes on African American history and slave history. I saw the slave master beating a slave.
Okay.
That's where my mind went. My mind went to back to slavery. It looked like in my mind, that's just where it went. And I don't know why it went there. But I kept saying, this is like massa and slave mentality.
Right, right. The Willie Lynch law, trying to
Yeah.
dominance. But what is it for? I mean, I don't even think these kids are like. There's a meaning behind all of this. There's just this anger.
No,
It has.
it's
Where is
it's there is it's anger, it's displaced anger, but it's also emulating what they have seen. So as a community, we glorify shows like BMF,
Yeah.
Baddies,
Power.
Power,
Right.
Snowfall. We glorify, and again, it's nothing wrong with watching it, but when we
Godfather.
glorify it, it
Hmm.
becomes a problem. We were on Facebook and social media. Spoiler alert: everybody was watching Power the minute it dropped. You had to watch it. We were fixated, and
Yeah.
now that our youth are mimicking the same things that we were putting out there, because we put
Yeah.
it out. 50
Yeah.
Cent
We
put
did.
it out,
Yeah.
right?
So we do. So do we? We have to take blame for most of this. Right.
Absolutely. There's a war against us on us. And this is why they say you don't have to do it. I was listening, I'm a huge Nipsey Hussle fan, right? Way before he even passed. He did an interview talking about how when he was riding through the streets and he was still heavily involved in a gang, and he would run down on the opposite set. And he was like, you wouldn't run down on somebody in a suit. You wouldn't run down on somebody in a uniform. You running down on somebody version of you.
And hurt it, and put harm to it, or possibly take the life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a sick mentality. It's something that needs to be fixed, and it has destroyed our communities for way, way, way too long.
Yes.
Um, and being the product of the '80s, and coming up through these times, I'm a witness of seeing how self destruction and just how we let the neighborhoods that they put us in, because it's designed to keep us trapped in the mindset that we're in, and it causes frustration because we see our parents, I guess, struggling, still trying to figure it out,
Yep.
and it keeps us out of the household and our kids vulnerable. And then while they're vulnerable, they're open to all kind of things that they see outside. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of get the metaverse mixed in with the real universe and what they see and hold on their hands in these phones. The response and how they react on these phones, it's a different reaction in the real world. So
Yes.
I'm pretty sure a lot of these beefs that these children have been involved in caused it had to be it was caused through social media, right? And grandma always said this was the mark of the beast, and it's I believe it now, and I see it, and I worry a lot, because I have children out there, and sometimes I wonder if the game and the advice and the lessons that I gave them is actually like put into their head where they understand,
Uh-huh.
where I did everything to not be the father on the other end of the victim or the one who was the one who did it. I don't want neither one of you guys involved. So when I heard that, it just it's heavy on the father. You know what I mean? Especially because it feels like your kids want to mimic you, and it's like
Mm.
that's really I was misguided, and I didn't understand, and I had to be set down and put in situations that I don't wish on no man, which is where it seems to be the goal for all the YNs to go. Like they want to experience the jail time. I'm assuming
Well, that's
this is
because jail has even been now glorified and has been
yes, yeah,
romanticized, if you will, right? And I don't mean
right,
sexually romanticized, but jail is like a badge of honor. It's like, oh,
yeah.
word, like, oh,
Like we
you
made
did
it
your
so good,
time. It's
but
either
it's a
that,
form of
or they feel like if you go in, you're gonna have a lawsuit, and now you're gonna come out and be a millionaire. And it's like, what is happening with our people and our culture? And I'm glad that you sit and you talk to your children, because there are too many of us that are not transparent about our past. I
no.
tell my daughters all the time about just different aspects of my life and how I used to date the hustlers and the things that I've seen, the things that I've encountered. I don't want you to live like that. I've provided this extremely soft life and privileged life for you for a reason. And the thing that gets me is a lot of us have provided that for our children. I have a friend who is currently doing 19 years on a 25 to life bid, and his parents afforded him everything he wanted. He went to good schools. They got him a good job. He was so fixated on. They lived in Brooklyn, and then they moved. The parents bought a house, and they moved out to Queens. He was so fixated on Brooklyn culture that he forced this life of struggle. He forced this life of trauma. So he got into a gang, caught a body, and now guess what? It's 15-minute phone calls.
Hmm.
You missed 18 years of your family's life. Mom goes in and out the hospital. You panicking, you worry because you can't just get to her. She can't just get to you. But these are the sides of the story we don't tell.
Right. And I make sure that I'm transparent with mine because it's crazy you say that about him, who you talking about, because
Mhm.
it's similar to my story, other
Oh
than the
wow.
fact that I didn't catch a body, right? But the jail time was a part of my story and my testimony, right? But I grew up born in Harlem and did foster care and was raised in Queens. And my dad, right, my uncle, as he became my dad because I was adopted, right? He was a cop, a detective, and my mom
Mm,
was a teacher, right? So I grew up in a nice house with a pool, 6 feet with a deck, right? 5 bedroom house. I really had no reason coming from Harlem, 145th Edgecombe, and then seeing that, I felt like George Jefferson, really moving on up. So I had the education, I had the structure, I had the discipline, but I kind of gravitated towards the street. So I try to sympathize and empathize with my kids when I speak to them and let them know, listen, I understand, but it's like, trust me, I've been through it and I went through it so you didn't have to. But it's something that they want to experience, I feel. And they got like this anger issue. But I'm like, I had anger because I lost my mother and father in the 80s and was adopted by my father's brother. You know what I'm saying? And I went to foster care. So I had a different experience of the world growing up young. You guys actually have a mother and father who was involved and tried to do everything possible. But once they get a certain age, once they leave your household, they have different influences, Jazz, that it's kind of hard to like, it's like you said, it's fantasized or romanticized like jail, like it's just this life or being disobedient or being outside smoking, vaping.
right.
It's been something to do. But I told a lot of them, like by the time you hit 21 and you're able to get to a liquor store and actually pull out an ID and buy liquor, you're not even going to want to have drinks like that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're not even probably going to want to drink. You're not going to want to vape. You know what I mean? So I just feel like most of it is a phase, but now it's getting to the point where lives are being taken and kids is they're losing their lives and before it even starts and it's not they're not physically or they're not mind, but it's just the human being. And as I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize the value of life and just the time that we have. And it's just stories like this is just so sad and unfortunate.
Absolutely. That's like
Mm.
did you watch this the spin-off of Bel Air?
Bel is this the Fresh Prince of Bel Air
Yes.
story? Like I've seen bits and pieces.
Oh my God, it was
Yeah,
such a good spin.
yeah, it's really,
This
really
literally,
dramatic. So,
this is what we should be glorifying in our communities. This is a
okay,
successful Black family that are going through some real life things. And I mean real life, like the way they spun so many lessons from the Freshmen. And that's the other thing. Our kids, and I'm glad that they're bringing back a different world and they're bringing back certain things with a spin because our kids don't have, because remember back in the day, if you didn't have the lessons at home, you at least saw them on TV.
right,
Right. We at least experienced things from Between Family Matters, A Different World, The Cosby Show, Living
right,
Things.
and
You
watch them
you
as a
learn.
family, and watch them
Yes.
as a family too.
And you
Sat down all
learn.
together.
So right. You learn so many things. And our kids really don't have a lot of outlets. Again, I am a youth advisor for a national youth organization. And it's hard to keep the kids. It's hard to captivate the kids. Social media plays a big part. Their attention span is only 7 seconds long.
Right.
And the other part is we've got to learn to get on their level. You
Well,
cannot, you can't captivate kids if you don't know how to speak their language. And I'm not talking about cursing. I mean, literally, what's their lingo? What's going on in their world? Because once you can grasp that, it's a little easier to grasp them. But what's going on with our black young men and the young girls too, because between daddies and all of these shows and the twerking and just nonsense.
Right, right.
I want us to come to a real resolve or at least start the process of how do we do better as a culture and as a community? Because
Yeah,
we're losing our children.
yeah. That's where it gets like, yeah, we're losing our children. That's where it gets real sensitive for me, like, because it's like, wow, because I can't. Yeah, my kids have to bury me, and I can't fathom with some parents who actually experience that. It's it's
Right.
oh my god.
And as we all know, let's be for real with history. This is spring. We're not even in the summer months yet. We know what happens in the summertime. We know what
Right.
happens in the hood in the summer. It gets wild. So we're not even there yet. And we have now watched
And
two
another thing,
15-year-olds' lives be taken in the last 2 weeks.
right? Right. But and it's not to though it's a lifestyle that we know two sides. There's a side that we know that our children are angels in our eyes, can do no wrong. Yeah, they may mess up, but not to the extent that we hear some of the bad news. But then there's a situation, or there's situations that happen with them outside that turn them a certain way, and they become this different individual that you may not know. On top of them growing into an adult, a young adult, and finding their independence and what they want to do in the world. So it's like they're trying to figure it out. But God forbid, JP, rest in peace once again. He did. There was another side that we didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? And the side that we do know, and it is somebody's child, but it was like it's is this going to be retaliation over and over? Is it going to stop?
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, like how can we come to a conclusion to anything if it's just on one after another? You take one, I take two. You take two, I take four. It just keeps doubling, and it's getting worse. It's like how can we get them to like not feel a certain way about a loved one that was taken, or you know what I'm saying? So it's like how do you come to these grounds to get this solution taken care of? Like
We can't go backwards as a
mhm,
people. We have worked too
we
hard.
can't, and I
We have
feel like we
kicked
are.
in too many doors.
Mhm.
We have fought through education, the ranks in education. We've fought in the corporate world. We've fought in the boardroom. We've done too much as a people and a culture to go
Right.
back to what we've overcome crack. We've overcome incarceration. We've overcome HIV and AIDS. We've overcome too much as a collective to now yet let teenagers that want to classify themselves as YNs and baddies take us back down this road. There has to be some sense of control that we are going to decide to take as the adults because we are now the adults. I know it's scary to think about it, but most of us, if you ain't 40 yet, you pushing 40 or you over 40. We are the new adults. So now it's up to us to make sure that the community centers are in alignment. Make sure there are programs and outlets for these children and they see more. And we got to teach them it's cool to go to work and just come home. It's cool to be a married man and a married woman and just build your family. It's cool to go to school and get your education and get a career. It's cool to just be regular.
Right. There is nothing wrong with it, but how much pressure is there to not look weak in front of others? You know what I'm saying? So
That
is
part.
that a part of it? You know what I'm saying?
That's a big
Mhm.
part of it. And when we see what's going on in mainstream media, and it's all by design that they only push the negativity and they push raunchiness and all of that into our communities, right? And it's no different how they came in and pushed drugs and weapons in our communities. But if we know better, how are we still falling victim to the same cycle? It's just a different tool. And that's the issue. And I hate to say it, but as a community. See, growing up, we had the village. So the village consists of the neighborhood, the block you grew up on, and your family.
Right.
Because You could go to grandma's house. You could go to auntie and uncle's
Right.
house. You could go different places because our parents still worked. But now the
Yeah.
issue is grandma isn't just being grandma because grandma's probably still working because she still got to live. Your
Right.
parents are working. That's the other part. We don't spend a lot of time with our kids because I don't know if anybody else feels this way that's listening, but I know for me, working a 9 to 5 ain't just a 9 to 5. I feel like I work and I'm away from my home way more than I am at my home. So now you got to come home from work. You have to depress or decompress from your day at the job. You still got to be mom or dad. If you have a husband or a partner, you still have to cater to them. You got to make sure the household is good. You got to make sure homework's done, bath time, everything. It's always you're always on this hamster wheel. And that's why
Right.
grandparents and aunts and uncles were so important because they help fill in the gap.
It was structured. Yes. Discipline.
And we've got to get back to that. Our kids don't have structure. We're not putting them in programs. You know why? Because as parents, we don't want to get up on Saturday and drive them. We don't want to take them here and there because we want to stay in bed or we want to get up and go and swag surf next to the scrambled eggs at brunch. We got to
Yeah.
get back to making sure our kids have a real foundation
Right.
that they can grow because they're only kids for but so long. And now we got 2 babies that are gone.
Two. Two of them. Your life didn't even get started. One spiritually gone and one physically gonna be away.
Right. What
You know what I'm
and
saying?
if you
But
looked at
both
that little 'cause
families.
that was the
eh,
other thing. If you looked at the video of when they brought him out the precinct and the way
mhm.
people were yelling, and again, I'm not saying right or wrong. I can't tell nobody how to feel in their emotions. But if you looked at that little boy's face,
He was hurt. It was.
he was
He was
hurt.
hurt. He
He
didn't mean
knew
it.
his soul,
He
his
didn't mean.
soul was gone.
Yeah, he didn't mean it. He was just trying to impress maybe the girls, his friends. It's a lot of pressure. You know, he doesn't
Mm,
look like a kid who he looked like a good kid. You know what I mean?
right.
From
And
what I
and
know, I
people
know he
were
got. I think
saying
he had a. I think he had a child.
he has
He
a
actually had
child.
a.
Yes,
I
he
think he
has
has
a child.
a good job at the airport. And you know what I mean? So it's like it has to be the peer pressure. You know what I'm saying? It has to be the peer pressure of the others and just looking weak or trying to be down or accepted with your group, your peer group. You know what I mean?
And people can say,
But the
"Oh, the
parents do need
parents,
to get
the
it.
parents." We
Yeah.
can blame the parents all day, but let's be for real. Rikers is full of knuckleheads whose parents tried to steer them the right way. We all knew a knucklehead growing up in our neighborhood who you'd be like, he ain't even gotta act like that. Like
And I was one of them. Yeah.
we all knew that. We all knew that, right? So it's like to me, and again, I don't know if the mother was hiding him or not. I don't know that deep into the story.
Allegedly. Right.
Right. But at
Mhm.
some point, we got to sit back and say, yes, any one of our kids can make a decision that we don't agree with. I know when I was younger and I've driven home drunk before, imagine if I would have done something. You couldn't blame my mother for that. I knew
No.
better. My mother taught me better. My mother's not even a drinker.
I said, if you knew better, you do better.
You know what I'm saying? But we've all been young. We've all made bad decisions. His is just life changing for everyone involved. And again, we got to do better. So, what I would like
Yeah.
to charge our
That,
community and our people with is simply this. Number one, let's get rid of that YN title. Let's
please.
get rid of that. Let's get rid of baddies. Let's go back to calling these kids by their names, their rightful names, their God given names, so that they can have some structure and understanding. And number two, I'm asking for Black men in New York specifically. Please come together. I have a free space that I can offer once a month. I need y'all to start meeting with these young men. And I need y'all to pour into them. I need y'all to be honest with them. And I want men from all different diasporas. I want the convicted felon that has changed his life. I need a therapist on board. I need an entrepreneur. I need a husband. I need a grandfather. I need men from all different sectors. I have a free space that I will offer up every month.
You hear that, fellas?
I
So,
just need you to come and I need you to get these kids there because we got to save our babies because ain't nobody else doing it. I'm not looking for local
and parents.
officials. I'm not looking for the government. We are saving us.
Right. We have to save us. No one else is going to do it for us. No one's going to do it for us. So at the end of the day, this isn't like just about one situation. It's about what happens when people don't have the tools to deal with what they feel. So because mental health isn't just feeling better, It's about learning how to pause moments that could change your life forever. This is Say It Anyway. I'm your host, Boogs, here with Jazz. Until next time.
Welcome to the podcast. Yeah, I'm not here to entertain your trauma or decorate pain with punchlines. I'm here to tell it the way it happened before time. Smooth out the hard lines. This podcast ain't about perfection, it's about perspective, about saying the parts out loud. Most people leave out for protection. I talk family loss, growth, accountability, the quiet moments nobody claps for. The decisions that change you long before anybody asks more. Yeah, no beats behind me, spread the truth.